That is enough of that. Welcome back, listeners. We're back. Joe and Alex, episode 4 of the Serve Up NBA podcast. I should probably stop sounding surprised that we're doing these, shouldn't I, Alex?
We're on to number 4, so I think we're good for double figures at least.
I think you're right. How are you?
Yeah, not bad. Back's improved a bit, which is good. It's all the yoga I've been doing, which is...
Any Pilates?
Not really. I'm not quite to that level yet. I'm actually finding Pilates quite difficult.
On account of your back, or because it's physically taxing?
I think it's physically taxing.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Any Pilates listeners out there, drop us a line. We are at the Serve Up at Gmail. We've got Twitter. We've got SoundCloud. We've even got iTunes now, Alex. All 3 episodes on iTunes. You an Apple man?
I used to be an Apple man. Not these days. Android only, unfortunately.
I am the Apple man. Get in touch with us. We're available. We want some emails. You want to talk about stuff? We've had some stuff in, actually. So we will, in fact, pick up on anything that you've got to add in. We want to make it interactive. Hope you're enjoying it. Let's get straight to it. Episode 3 recap. Alex, what did we do? Why the NBA is so good right now? We did... LeBron is 57. We did Kevin Love's troubles in Cleveland. He sorted those out, hasn't he?
I think so, yeah. He's had a couple of good nights actually since we last spoke, which I'm sure we'll come on to.
Does he listen to the pod, do you reckon? He has?
I hope he's riveted by our Kevin Love hatred we've had so far, which I'm sure he's not. But we've got lots of positive things to say today.
We do. And we have my case for Lillard's MVP. Have I won you round yet?
Not on the MVP. I still think he's a tier below, but God, he's playing well.
Okay, and winning and losing streak, our new segment, streaking down the quad, which we're going to do again. But first up, correction corner. People love this one. I'm going to attack you this time, Alex. It's a good one this week. We got a lot wrong last week.
It doesn't surprise me.
It's always bittersweet, this segment, but I enjoy it. Number 1, Kevin Love. You asked, Alex, how much are they paying him to be a spot-up shooter? And the answer to that, my friend, is $22,642,350. And that contract's good all the way through to 2019-20, where he makes a cool $25.5 million. So that's how much they're paying.
So what, he's got 3 years on his deal left?
He does.
That's still movable though. I think if they get desperate, if he continues to play sort of up and down, I think that's a possibility later on. But he's playing well again, so we'll see.
That's a lot of money for a glorified Ray Allen.
It is.
We were going to fact check Paul George's usage. You claimed his usage was actually going down this year, namely because he's on a team with 2 other superstars. Actually, his minutes are up as of last night. So we are recording this on Monday, the 13th of November 2017. And he's averaging 36.3 minutes. So slightly up on last year's, but it's literally almost nothing. Everything looks broadly on par. He's shooting more threes. He's not getting to the line as much, but no one is this year, are they?
Everyone's down because the refs are not calling a thing.
And that's come from the big man, hasn't it? That's come from Adam Silver.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's just a little bit of... I think a lot of those sort of 3-and-1s that we had last year where players were just throwing up ridiculous shots that weren't really even shots. They were getting and-1s, but they're not getting any of them. And it seems to be like a little bit of contact around the rim. If the player's going up vertically, they're accepting as well. So it's actually probably a better product to watch. Yeah. But they'll go to the line. But we don't want to see players at the line all game. Some of those Houston games last season were just awful. You couldn't watch them.
I agree.
Just a procession of free throws for like 48 minutes is the last thing you want to see. So
and
a lot of non-calls.
They've made some changes as well to change the last 2 minutes, and because they were sick of that constantly. Was it timeouts or people going to the line all the time?
Timeouts throughout the game, there's one less, and there's one less allowed to be used in the last 2 minutes as well. I believe again that's been reviewed at the end of the season. They might go down even one more because you're still getting 4 or 5 timeouts in the last 2 minutes, which is extending the game by like 15. So they might go down to like you can only use 2 in the last 2 minutes next season.
It's a common criticism, isn't it? Baseball gets it worse than us, I think, as NBA fans. But NBA games normally, on average, I think about 3.5 hours for a 48-minute game. So yeah, they needed to speed it up, and that could be a good rule.
I think Adam Silver's aim is to get 20 minutes off the game. So I think it's like 3 hours 20, 3:15 at the moment. They want it to be like 3 hours as the average. Yeah, and the best way to do that is reduction of timeouts, because a 2 minute timeout doesn't take 2 minutes. It takes about 6 minutes with all those ad breaks and dances and everything else that goes on. So you see very little action in the last 2 minutes. And I think it's a bit disjointing for the players. I think they'd rather just play. Yeah. To be honest, and you have to constant timeouts. I don't think it actually helps the product. So I think it's a good move.
I do as well. Was Harden. So Harden had that 57-point game. And I mentioned that he was a perfect 7 of 7 from 3. until he took one shot, and I was like, I'm pretty sure it was a heave or a chuck from half court. I wasn't exactly right there. Harden finished 19 of 25 from the field after missing his last 3 attempts. That was him from the field, not just his threes. He was a perfect 7 of 7 from beyond the arc until he missed the step back 3-pointer midway through the fourth as the shot clock was about to expire. So I was half right.
You were half right.
Okay.
I'll give you that.
Ray Allen 3. No, sorry. Damian Lillard's shot chart, which I've got up here, and I was saying he's basically king of the layups. He takes 78 shots so far this season from within 2 feet. Next, and actually I was wrong because his highest shot attempt is actually 3-pointers, of which he's 26 of 81. Only 32% from 3. That's not as good as I thought for Lillard.
He's taken a lot though already. He's taken 81 already.
And none from the corner. Doesn't like the corner.
Well, I think because he's facilitating a lot, he's at the top of the key. You won't see he's not going to be standing in the corner that often. So I don't think he would take that many.
That's our hot take, I think, isn't it? Damian Lillard hasn't attempted a corner 3 this season so far. We should probably we'll check in on that. That could be a new.
You think he'd have taken one just by accident?
Yeah, is Lillard taking a corner 3 yet? You heard it here first at the serve up. Next up, LeBron James, not known for hitting clinchers and game winners, which was your point. And I think you're right. And when I did a bit of research, the shot that everyone remembers, 2013 Finals, Game 6, San Antonio were leading the Spurs 3-2. This was on Miami's floor. I remember listening to this on the radio. I couldn't get a feed, as I recall. So I ended up going through TuneIn and got like a local Miami station. But LeBron missed a 3-pointer to tie from the left wing. Chris Bosh out-jumped 2 Spurs. He grabbed the offensive... Do you remember they'd inexplicably taken Duncan off?
They had. They thought they won the game.
They thought they won. Everyone had. The yellow ropes got pulled across, ready to give the Spurs...
It took a series of about 7 plays that all went perfectly for Miami to win that game. And it was one of those weird endings where a team's up by about 5 or 7. And they managed to throw it away in the last 30 seconds. Yes, it does happen.
Bosh got it to
but
Allen.
not in game 6s, it doesn't happen. That's the problem.
Allen was backpedaling to the right corner. He didn't hesitate, drained the game-time 3 with 5.2 seconds left on the clock. Miami went on to win Game 6, as we know, and then they took Game 7 for their second straight championship. LeBron's second straight championship as well. What a series. That was a moment, wasn't it? That was a defining moment. But it was Ray Allen that took the shot to the point. We all remember, of course, if you are thinking of LeBron game winners, there's one that stands out in my mind. That impossible game-tying 3-point buzzer beater that he had versus the Wizards. And that was in February last year, almost at the year anniversary of that. Do you remember that turnaround being forced? It was a turnaround but on the wing, wasn't it?
I do remember, yeah.
He got forced off the court. Unbelievable. Barely got a look at the rim.
He always seems to get them against the Wizards as well. It's the only team he can make a clutch shot against, I swear. There might be something in that. I think that's a fact check for next week.
The Wizards bring out the worst in everyone. Lakers had that. They had the revenge match because they won, didn't they? Beat the Wizards in the first Lonzo Wall matchup, and then Wizards won. Didn't
the Wizards came back with a nice win in the second game. But I think it's just there's a lot of chat from the Wizards this season about how good they are, and their record doesn't really stand up at the moment against it.
You know I'm not a John Wall fan.
They think they're the best team in the East, and they're probably not.
Beal's been the star, hasn't he?
Yeah, points-wise, definitely, but the Wizards are not really playing much defense, and that's why they're not winning many games. Very similar to the Cavs. They both started very up and down, scoring lots of points, but
conceding. Who's their coach? I'm going to put you on the spot. Who's the Wizards coach?
It is Scotty Brooks.
He's pretty anonymous, isn't he?
Well, it was his first season last year at the Wizards. He had a good season. The season before, they'd missed the playoffs with... I can't remember who the old coach was.
He's not an overbearing coach, is he?
No, I don't think so. And, they had a good season last season. Got to the second round. Lost in Game 7 to Boston. So, for a chance at the Eastern Conference Finals. So, they had a good season. And I think they'll be strong again. I think they're a better playoff team than they probably are a regular season team, a bit like Cleveland.
Yeah.
But I do expect them to be in the top 8 by the end of it, to be honest. I'd be very surprised.
We both had them in the playoffs, didn't we?
Yeah, I'd be very surprised.
I had them third or something. Next one, PER leader. I floated this one. I also said that Embiid might be leading the league in PERs. How wrong I was. He's actually number 44. Do you fancy a guess at league's leading PER scorer at the moment now?
Probably Porzingis, maybe.
He's second is Antetokounmpo.
Oh yeah, it would have been the other one.
I love pronouncing. Giannis is number 1. Kristaps, Davis, LeBron James, Harden, then Bobby Portis. What kind of a season has Bobby Portis?
Well, he's only played
together?
3 games in 26 minutes though, so he had one monster game. I think it was the first game he played. He was about 32 and 17.
2 other names you might not expect in here. This is the league so far. 14 games played for some people, most of them 13. This is top 10 PER leaders. Clint Capella in at 8.
It's all those
Harden
dunks.
effect?
I think it's the Harden effect.
It's not the Chris Paul effect.
And it's the field goal percentage, I think. It's not the Chris Paul effect. He barely played a minute for them.
It's easy to forget about Chris Paul right now, isn't it? But he's coming back.
He's coming back and they're going to be strong. They're going to be able to play either Paul or Harden at any point during the game, which is going to make them a hell of a lot better than they were last year.
You're going to reinsert Chris Paul into a lineup
Hall of Fame, the Hall of Fame point guard.
Already firing on all cylinders.
He's probably still in his prime, just about.
They're leading the West, aren't they? As of today?
I think they're joint with Golden State.
Joint with Golden State,
that.
who are on
they are.
Absolute tear. Willie Reed's in there across 12 games over at the Clippers. Do I need to pick him up? Willie Reed.
I don't think he's playing many minutes, but I think his PER's a little bit.
You're right. 11 minutes.
A bit like David West
and
again.
David West is 10.
They go 6 or 7 every night on mainly dunks and a few layups, and feasting because they're on a good team basically, which helps. Well, Golden State, maybe not the Clippers, but
Embiid's 44, so he's got some work to do. Paul George, crunch time game winner records. Al actually sent for this one during the pod. I got the stat, you're not going to believe it. Paul George came up empty on a potential game-tying 3 late in the Pacers' season-ending 106-104 loss to the Cavaliers on Sunday. So, do you remember Cavs swept the hapless Pacers last season in the playoffs?
Yeah.
They 4-0'd them.
It was a good 4-0 because every game could have gone either way for a little bit.
Yeah,
but,
and he missed a potential game-time 3 when they got swept. So they went and played golf after that. But with that miss, the All-Star forward fell to just 2 of 32 on all potential game-tying or go-ahead shots in the final 15 seconds in both the regular season and the playoffs, according to ESPN. You were right. Wow, I didn't think it was that bad.
I think it's so low is because he loves a contested 3 from 28 feet.
That's a good point. If I picture him taking a 3, it is contested.
And you can imagine him doing that at the end of games. And
he was the only threat on the Pacers in his defence.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, it's true. He was the only shooter. And I think that's basically meant he couldn't get to the ring very often. And it's a strong point of his game is not going to the ring. He's not particularly good at going to the ring. I'd say he's an average NBA player at going to the ring. His strengths are defence, 3-point shooting, versatility, passing. He's got an all-round game, but going to the ring is not like a real strong point for him. So I think that's why the numbers are quite low. And Kobe's is better than that, clearly better than 2 and 32, but it's not outstanding at the same time. If you look at that, that could be one for next week because he took so many jump shots.
Yeah, but Vino's shot was laser guided, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Yeah. But it was all, I think his last 30, the game winning numbers aren't great, but it's all those 2 minutes prior where he's made 6 out of 6 for Kobe, I think.
The next one was, I'm going to hustle us along on correction corner. There were a lot last week. We need to up our game. Dwight Howard. I'm just fact checking him as a person, quite frankly. You're loving Howard this season, aren't you? He keeps popping up.
He looks about 10 years younger.
He's had a renaissance. It's
points,
a rebirth.
rebounds, both up from last season. He's averaging about 14 and 13.
Something in the water at Charlotte Hornets, or is it the Michael Jordan effect? He still hangs around, doesn't he, at training and stuff? He hangs half the team or whatever.
I think it also helps that Charlotte haven't really got anyone else that rebounds the ball, so he's gobbling them up. He gets more touches now. He's getting lots of lobs from Kemba, which is good.
He looks less robotic, doesn't he?
He does. He's looking a bit better. He looks like he's slimmed down a bit, which is good. It's like a lot of the players have. He has slimmed down. He's a bit more mobile. Still struggling to defend out to the 3-point line when he gets lost in no man's land a bit. But he's a useful centre these days.
Yeah, he's quite obviously coached, isn't he? Sometimes you can see it.
Yeah, he's not a natural basketball player.
I don't think, especially some of that footwork. You can see
it's very robotic.
Jab step, pump fake.
A lot of that
move.
can be put down to his size. He is so enormous. You forget how big he is, how wide he is.
Yeah, they list him at 6'11", 265, but he's 31. He's our age, That's my age. You just turned 32, haven't you?
I have. He's younger than me, which is a bit depressing to be honest. But
all right, I'll take you off that. Drummond. Last point on this. Drummond and his free throw percentage. I was going to say how amazing it is, but he's regressed, doesn't he?
He had one bad game. We went 0-7. That does worry me that he can still drop back into that. He was shooting about 78% before that, which was way up on his career average of like 40%. I think it was like less than that. I think his career average maybe like 38. It's horrific. But if he can just avoid those sort of 0-7, 0-5 games.
Worth mentioning that Dwight's
40%
40% at the line right now. It's these big men not being able to shoot. It's just
it hurts
feeding into Golden State. Golden State are the big man killers, aren't they? You cannot play a big man against Golden State, and you see it in crunch time. They just pull.
Unless your big man's like a unicorn or like a superstar,
like an AD,
you can't play him. Yeah, you can't play him. They've got to be able to score consistently. If you've got a big man that can't score, he's not playing.
Aldridge might be the difference. He's a real star, isn't he? He just keeps on blocking shots. So Aldridge, quick stat check. Aldridge had a 16-game streak of at least one consecutive block in a game. He couldn't get it done in 25 minutes versus Phoenix on Bonfire Night. So that streak dies. But do you see Aldridge a shot blocker? Is this new? Is he the all-rounder that we always thought he was? He struggled in San Antonio, hasn't he?
I think he's played better defense in San Antonio than people give him credit for. And he's playing a lot more centre, which he doesn't like. So he's been sort of ill-fitted. We always knew it was going to be a struggle for him to fit in that team because it's such a pass-friendly team, and he's more of a post-up, ISO sort of player. So I think his defence is up because he's not doing as much offensively necessarily, or he hasn't got the usage that he used to have. And he's just more committed on that. And it's a better team. It's a better team. It's better coached. He's in the right place more often to make those plays.
I will never bet against the San Antonio Spurs, not just because they're my team, but it's the Popovich X factor.
It's the X's and O's,
it's the culture, it's
else.
RC Buford, it's just everything that they've done. The consistency. They're the Arsenal of the NBA, aren't they? Didn't Arsenal have that 18 records or 18 years consecutive for the Champions League?
They did, and they sadly come to an end last year.
And how many 50-game seasons have Spurs put up? I think it's like 12, 13. We'll
12 or 13 seasons, which is ridiculous.
Crazy. I happen to be an Arsenal fan as well. Al, who's your football team?
Palace.
Alright, let's move on.
Yeah.
Last night's games. Hawks versus Wizards. Let's fly through these. Wizards took the Hawks. It was Hawks at Wizards, and they won 113-94. Bradley Beal was the top scorer for Wizards. We talked about him already. Taurean Prince. I'm not big on him. 19 points, 3 rebounds for Atlanta. He was their top scorer. Just another day at the office for the Wizards. You're playing the Hawks.
To be honest. Hawks have been beaten up on by everyone. They're 2-11.
Jesus, are they? I thought they had a really good start.
They're 2-11. The Hawks, absolutely terrible. They've got a roster of rookies and sort of like journeymen. They're trying to tank. They're happy with their 2-11 start. They need a superstar on that team. They're not a big market. They're never going to get a free agent. They need to be the worst team in the league this season. They're probably going to be.
I like this quick recap on the league from the previous night because I know that people listen at different times, and some teams we don't get a chance to mention, like the Raptors. I don't think we've done anything on the Raptors in our
I can definitely say we've not mentioned the Raptors.
Hopefully
once.
They played last night and we're covering, but we'll go straight to the Pelicans, who pulled off a win at home versus the Clippers, who are in free fall. Al, how did the Pelicans take them down? DeMarcus Cousins, 35 and 15.
Really big game from DeMarcus and a good game from AD as well. Still a two-man team, this Pelicans team. They're 7-6, playing well. They had a good 8-point win last night. Started well in the first, took a bit of a lead and just never relinquished it, and that was it.
Are Pelicans better than Clippers overall? Would you back them in a 7-game series? Right now, Pelicans, Clippers.
I think Clippers are going to fall foul of the injury bug. They've lost their point guard.
I'm playing Austin Rivers.
Yeah, which is not working at all. I think at this
For anyone that doesn't know, Austin is the son of the coach, Doc
and the coach, who's not also a good coach either. He's pretty shocking at this stage in his career. He doesn't really know what's going on. I get the impression. I think the Pelicans against the Clippers in this state are a better team, but when it comes to playoffs and they've got players back and maybe they're a bit more sorted out and they've got a bit more player for experience, maybe the Clippers are doing the same.
Weird we're saying that about the Clippers.
Yeah.
Didn't they go on a 20-season drought or something?
Well, Blake's on a bit of a shooting drought all of a sudden.
But Clippers didn't make it to the playoffs for like 20 years in a row, until Blake turned up, I think.
Yeah. But they'll come round. I think they're okay.
Okay, Kings, Knicks, hello. 118-91. What's going on in New York?
Porzingis again, 34.
What about this Tilikina? LeBron fired some shots saying they should have picked Dennis Smith.
Yeah,
he was like, this guy should be in
bench.
And now they got this Tilikina.
Coming off the bench, rookie. Had a few injuries in pre-season, didn't really play much. He's got a good D.
Why would Bronny...
Not that great offensively, I wouldn't say yet.
Answer me this. Why would Bronny call out... Is it his love of
Dennis
Smith?
Smith's his man. Yeah, it's his boy.
So it's less that he hates Tilikina.
Apparently he's known Dennis Smith for like 10 years. He doesn't even know who Tilikina is. He probably never met him. But that's not the point.
And he wanted him in New York.
Well, I think Dennis Smith wanted to be in New York. I think he talked about it for about 3 weeks before the season started. But he's at the Mavs. He's at another team that's decent. But you know, a lot of people.
Dallas is nice, isn't it?
Yeah, it is a
You've
nice.
been to
I've been to Dallas actually, oddly enough.
Would you rather live? And we've been to New York. Would you prefer New York?
Oh,
Dallas?
I'd live in Dallas all day.
I'd take Dallas as well.
New York is a whole.
It's
as
just
you know,
London on steroids, and I like London the way it is. I don't want it on steroids, thanks. Okay, let's keep going. Grizzlies played Rockets. Rockets won 111-96 behind Harden's 38-4-8. Tyreek Evans, who keeps getting a mention, he was Grizzlies.
He's had a couple of decent games.
He was Grizzlies' top scorer at 22-5-6. You'd back the Rockets to beat Grizzlies, wouldn't you? Every night of the week. Is it time to start gambling again on the NBA? It's an immense. We haven't touched it, have we? You would not want to gamble
in the first 10 games. No. I think it's starting to even out. I think we're starting to see what teams actually are, and you've seen teams that have started hot that have maybe just had an easy schedule and then have cooled off slightly, and you're seeing teams that have had hard schedules that are really starting to rise up through the pack. So I think the Grizzlies are okay. They're a good team. I think they did well to get rid of Randolph and Tony Allen, who've done nothing.
They're going to win
season.
some games, just not against the Rockets.
No, not many people are going to beat the Rockets this season.
Moving swiftly on, the Cavaliers, a much-needed tonic for them as they beat the Mavericks at the Mavs' home. So this is when LeBron made his famous comments. Right, I saw the highlights for this game, and there's one thing I want to bring up, and that's that Dirk Nowitzki got absolutely terrorised by Kevin Love, who's not a massive post player, as we know, but I've never seen Dirk look older, and I'm a huge Dirk fan, but it's not going to be graceful, this retirement.
Dirk's done the classic 1 year too long, just a bit like Kobe a couple of seasons back.
I disagree with that, but I disagree that Dirk might have gone.
Kobe was the worst starter in the league.
The man that scored 63 points in his final game against
on 51 shots. If you're going to take 51 shots and you only score 60,
our kids will ask why Kobe Bryant retired if he was capable of scoring 60 plus in his final game, and I won't have an answer.
And I will.
Alright, talk me through this then. So LeBron, they needed that win against the Mavericks.
They did. Big game from Kevin Love.
Why are we celebrating a 111-104?
Well, they won by 7 points against probably the second worst team in the league. They're just not very good.
K-Love's back though.
He needs to be. He had 29 and 15, massive game for Cleveland's 111. But Cleveland just conceding a lot of points, and they're struggling.
LeBron looks a little despondent in interviews. You know those creases above his forehead? They're really deep at the moment. He's got an Odin look about him.
He's
not
looking
Odin
happy.
at 45 at 18. Check out Greg Oden. We'll put him up on the Twitter page if you're following. Jesus.
I think LeBron's a bit concerned about his team.
You would be, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
It would be remiss not to. All right, we'll move on. Lakers Bucks. Bucks beat the Lakers behind Giannis 33-15-3. Lonzo Ball was top scorer on the Lakers. He can shoot 19, 11, and 13.
He had a good game.
Youngest player
really
ever to record a
massive triple-double.
He's actually in the history books now. Do we need to start taking Lonzo Ball seriously?
I don't really want to talk about him this season, but you can if you want.
Okay.
But I expect the Bucks to win that game, and they did. Basically,
by 8 points at home. If anything, he should be winning by more.
Good
performance from
the
the
Lakers team's frisky occasionally, but they're not having a good run away. They're 5-8 now in Lakers, and they're starting to sort of fall back into their pattern. They've gone to the East, and I don't think they've won one of the 3 they've played yet. So they need to go back home.
The Chicago Bulls had the misfortune of playing the San Antonio Spurs on their home floor. And took a 39-point drubbing. Pau Gasol, 21-10-4. Robin Lopez for the Bulls at 17-4-2. They
lost the first quarter, 37-15. The game was over after about 2 minutes.
22-point lead in the first quarter.
The Bulls are 2-9.
That's happened to me in the Go Mammoth League.
They're not very good.
I've been that team,
and they don't want to play teams like the Spurs very often. The Bulls will be threatening for that worst record, I think, this season as well. A very young team.
How about 76ers versus Warriors? A lot of games last night. Warriors won 135-114. Kevin Durant, the silent assassin, Durantula, 29-5-4. He's just quietly getting it done. I'm really actually appreciating more basketball from Kevin Durant and less mouth. Really, something about him. It's annoying me.
He stopped saying stuff. Which is good.
Just play ball, mate.
They're 10-3. They smashed up the 76ers. They've been smashing everyone up for the last 6 games.
Did Embiid play?
He did play.
Okay.
He didn't have the best game, I don't think. But the 76ers are a decent team, but not many people are going to beat the Warriors when they're interested.
Just reel off 20 in 4 minutes, can't they? Okay.
When they're locked in, it's all over.
Nuggets beat Magic. Finally, the Magic are playing like the team they thought we were. Evan Fournier is their top scorer with 18 points, whereas Will Barton went off for Denver.
Yeah,
Will.
It didn't play great, the Magic, but the Magic's 8-5, and they've been okay. Still a bit frisky.
Okay. All right.
Nuggets starting to pick up, liking what I'm seeing from them.
True. Suns, Timberwolves. The Phoenix Suns won a game behind Devin Booker. Who else? And Timberwolves lost behind Jimmy Butler, who scored more than 8 points with 25, 7.
Well, the Suns are 5 and 9, and they're not as bad as we saw in those first 3 games, and they're starting to pick up a little bit. But the Timberwolves have got to win games like this.
That's a game I'd like to watch. Timberwolves at Suns. What do you reckon?
Yeah, it'd be a decent game.
That would be a
Suns
decent
would attack them, but apparently Timberwolves just didn't turn up with any intensity, and that's why they lost the game. They had a terrible fourth quarter again, which hopefully isn't anything to do with how badly they were in the fourth quarter last year. Yeah, Towns is very quiet.
Okay, Nets, Jazz. I just don't want to talk about the Brooklyn Nets. D'Angelo Russell has been a revelation.
Both of these teams are very mediocre.
I think Jazz have lost Gobert.
Gobert's out 4 to 6 weeks.
Jesus.
Favors gonna have to do a lot. They already don't have much scoring.
It's like Heat losing Whiteside. That's huge, isn't it?
Yeah, they're
in fact, Heat are probably better assembled to put up with a temporary loss of their big man, but Utah are built around Gobert.
And Gobert's so much better than
Especially
Whiteside
defensively.
as well. He's better than Whiteside.
Yeah, no, he is.
It's not even a question.
Jesus, was this a full 15-game night? We've got Raptors-Celtics. Finally, the Raptors get a mention. Celtics by 1 to keep the streak alive at 12.
I watched the end of this game last night. It was classic Raptors. So kept in it with lots of going to the line in the first 3 quarters. With DeMar DeRozan sort of throwing it around and missing a lot. Lowry played quite well. Got a little bit off the bench. Didn't get much off the bigs as ever.
No Kyrie.
Celtics D'd him out in the last 2 minutes. Raptors went to the same old move. It's either a Kyle Lowry 3 that doesn't go in, or DeMar DeRozan and a turnover.
God, it's such a stagnant offense. I really don't
It is.
like the Raptors.
And the fourth quarter was particularly stagnant with both teams last night. But
Celtics I like.
Raptors can't get it done at the end of the game.
Alright, final 2 games. Pistons beat the Heat 112.
Pistons are 10 and 3. Tobias Harris going off, playing really decent defense.
I would like to see the Whiteside Drummond battle.
Yeah, that'd be quite good.
Whiteside
had a decent 20 and 12 last night.
Very nice.
It's Avery Bradley for the Pistons.
You love Avery.
He's been really good there, and they're playing some really decent defense. And they're 10 and 3. They can have a good record this year.
Final game are league leading. Is that fair to say? Houston
11 and 3.
11 and 3. Beat the Pacers on their East Coast road trip
by 23.
Behind Harden's 26. Quite night for the beard. 26-5 but 15 assists.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive.
Who's doing all the scoring?
Harden had 9 assists through the first quarter. So he was absolutely tearing it up. They were 35-18 in the first. Again, this game was over after 2 minutes.
I'm not sure these Pacers should be 6 and 8, if I'm honest.
I think they've done well to be 6 and 8.
Yeah.
I think there's going to be a little bit of
Victor
a drop off.
Oladipo, shout out to the Serve Up, my fantasy team. More on that later. Right, okay.
Let's move on.
Yes, we are going to streaking down the quad. There are 2 streaks that I want to talk about. These are current active streaks in the NBA, wins or losses. We normally do the big winners, the big losers, and the big winners this week, as everyone who knows anything about basketball knows. Boston, 12-game winning streak. Who saw that coming without Gordon Hayward?
Nobody. Actually, no one saw that coming. So
are they just beating up on schmucks, or are they winning good games?
They're winning good games, and they're winning them well. Best defensive rating in the league.
Wow.
Decent offense. Which isn't the most high-powered. Obviously, you've got no Gordon Hayward, and Kyrie's missed a game now, maybe 2, if he doesn't play tonight.
And they're still winning.
They're so long. You've got Al Horford, you've got Jaylen Brown at 6'9", you've got Tatum at 6'9". You've got Marcus Smart, who's 6'4", but plays basically like he's 6'6".
You love Tatum, don't you?
Tatum's going to be a serious player. He's already shown as a rookie that he's well polished, that he can handle as being a starter on the best team in the East and probably the best team in the league at the moment. He's putting up okay numbers. He plays D, doesn't miss rotations. He looks like he's been playing the league like 8 years. And he's played, 13 games.
I really like him.
Same. He's going to be a really good player. And him and Jaylen Brown.
I want to see more of Tatum.
And when Kyrie comes back from that facial injury he's got.
And Hayward. I picked him back up in a fantasy league. Didn't realise you could put someone on the injured list. So I dropped him when it first happened. Put him on my injured reserves.
I don't think he'll play this season, though. I don't think he'll play this season.
I don't know if our league goes to the playoffs or not. If it does, I might get lucky. I might get him back for the playoffs. I saw him shooting from a wheelchair mid-court.
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah. He's got a big boot on, though. I don't think we'll see him for a while.
Okay, Boston are killing it, but all the props in the world to them. They really deserve it. It's part of what makes the NBA so great.
They're good at winning close games. Yeah. It means they'll win a lot of games
well
this
coached.
season.
I love Brad Stevens.
Everyone loves Brad Stevens.
Yeah, he's a
and
hero.
Danny Ainge's still got loads of draft picks in that hoard. Still, he's still got loads to do.
Go on, Boston. We're cheering you on. We've got to talk about the largest losing streak in the NBA, which is the Los Angeles Clippers.
Wheels have fallen off already. They're like 30.
They were 4-0.
I think they were 5-1.
They were 5-1, and now they are just a 5-game losing streak. They're out of the playoffs currently, but it's still early days. Can they turn it around?
Yeah, they've had two really weird runs. They've had a run of hot shooting where they couldn't miss, and they went 5-1, and they were killing teams, a bit like the start of last season. And then reality just snapped back in, but inversely, and they just become awful. Blake seems to be going like 6-25 of every game for the last 5.
Is he burnt out?
I think they're struggling with injuries. I think they've had a few players in and out. They lost Teodosic for the season, who was their best point guard, basically.
Griffin just got his 2,000th assist.
Griffin's still awesome.
You forget he's been in the league a while.
Yeah, and they'll still win games, but I do fear for them a little bit.
Okay, let me reel off the losses in this 5-game loss. They lost 113-104 to Memphis. That was at home. Then they lost to Miami 104-101. You can forgive that. Again, Griffin leading scorer for both of those games. Then they lost at San Antonio. You can forgive them for that. Aldridge went off. Then they lost at Oklahoma. That OKC team, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. They're a bit of an enigma, aren't they? OKC.
I think they just need to bench Melo and just get on with it, quite frankly, at this stage. I think he's more of a hindrance than a help.
Paul George got 37 last night, and it was Westbrook's
when Paul George touches the ball, they win the game.
Yeah.
If they've got Westbrook as well. If Melo's throwing up jump shots, you're not getting anything out of him.
And then they lost to New Orleans at New Orleans last night. I think they're going to turn it around. I had them as a 50-win... No, sorry. I'm thinking of OKC. I had OKC as a 50-win team. Clippers, I had about 6th or something.
6th or 7th.
I can check that Twitter. So I think they're going to do better. They're going through a bit of a funk, but they played some decent teams.
I think they'll be just over 500.
Okay, all right. That is streaking down the quad complete. Right, straight on to everyone's favourite segment, Name That Player. For anyone that doesn't know, this can be Alex or I will take the mic and we will give a series of clues to the other to try to get them to guess a player. It could be retired, playing, whatever. So far, to give you an idea of the sort of players, we've had TJ Ford, Al Jefferson, Paul George, Tyson Chandler and Raja Bell, and we'll put these on the Twitter and the Facebook and stuff as well. But it's Name That Player, episode 4, and
here we go.
You're up against it, Al. Number 1, you are looking for a 24-year-old, 6'8" Canadian.
I think I know who it is.
Go for it.
Is it Anthony Bennett?
It is Anthony Bennett. Smashed it. 1 clue. That's our first solo clue. I was going to say he's played for 4 teams. He's officially a journeyman. Played college ball at UNLV, University of Las Vegas.
That would have given it away as well. What really gave it away was Canadian. Yes. Oddly enough, there aren't that many Canadian players.
It's true. Steve Nash.
Yeah, there's a couple of others as well.
I actually can't think of another Canadian.
There's a big player. Is Andrew Wiggins Canadian? I think he is.
No, isn't that Australian? Or is that Kyrie?
No, Kyrie's Australian, but he's US citizen. No, I think Wiggins is Canadian.
Okay. He currently plays for the North Arizona Suns of the G League. Would you have got that?
No, but I knew he'd gone down to the G League. But I didn't know where he was playing.
Well done. Massive props on Anthony Bennett, the much derided Anthony Bennett.
Not a number 1 pick, but should never have been. He was about the 9th, 10th pick.
Apparently he suffered with some sleep problem.
The Cavs just didn't know what they were doing, mate.
Okay, onwards and upwards. This is your number 2. Name that player. A 6'9" Argentine small forward. 6'9" Argentinian from small forward, and he's a small forward. Do you want another clue?
Did he play for the Spurs?
He did not that I'm aware.
Okay, so yeah, on another clue.
He played for Charlotte, who were then the Bobcats, when I really liked them with Gerald Wallace, and Pistons from 06 to 09. We strongly would identify with him as a Pistons player.
Okay, I know who it is, but on another clue.
Okay. And this is really sad actually, but I think this will give it away. He tragically lost his mum, younger sister, and fiance in a car accident in 2003.
Oh.
All 3. And then his dad died a year later to the day of a heart attack.
Well, I've heard this story, and it is Walter Herman.
It is Walter Herman. Also
Yeah.
now. Double R, double N. Walter Herman. What an enigmatic player. He was brilliant, wasn't he? He just had those games.
He looked like He-Man out the He-Man films.
With the
He had
largest hands. He had Kawhi.
He was enormous,
hands.
and he had this really long, like, feminine hair.
Yeah.
It was quite strange.
It was like Kelly Olynyk.
Yeah, it was like that late 80s
German.
He-Man Masters of the Universe film. If you've
Yeah.
ever seen that with some hench dude, I can't remember if it's Dolph Lundgren or someone.
But he'd go off
That's who he
like
looked like.
29,
Yeah,
14.
he could shoot.
He could do everything. Yeah,
He had,
really a shooter.
he had a purple like 18 months and sort of disappeared off the face of the
Yeah.
planet, didn't he?
He
But
made some cash.
he made some
Good on
cash.
him.
I think he went
awesome.
I think he went to Detroit on quite a big contract and totally mailed it in, but we'll let him off for that.
I can't believe this. You're dominating this. You've had Anthony Bennett, got him after 1 clue. Got Walter Herman after 3. Okay, let's see if you
I
get
could
this
have had it
one.
after 2.
Here we go. This is for a clean sweep. He's a 7-foot Serbian from the 2003 draft.
Darko Milicic.
It is Darko Milicic. Detroit Pistons played centre.
You got to make him harder.
Played in the NBA for 6 teams. Celtics most recently in 2012. He was a number 2 pick. Name the number 1 pick that year, 2003, if Darko Milicic went to.
Isn't it LeBron?
It is LeBron.
LeBron is
James.
famously Milicic the bust straight out after him. People love a European stiff.
Yeah, he actually left the Celtics to become a kickboxer. That didn't work out too well.
No, I can imagine.
And he's now playing for a Greek team or something, I think. But mate, gotta give it to you. You're undefeated. Shall I make these
Harder. Make him harder.
Make them harder.
Make him harder next time. You got to just make me miss. Make me get one wrong.
All right. Last but not least, fantasy chat. What's going on with your team, man?
Oh, shocking. I did have a win this week.
You're
I won. I think
that's in your matchup against someone else.
I had a match up against someone who was equally as awful as me, and I think he was forgetting to rotate his players. So,
mate, you're 5th.
I've gone
on points.
I've gone
On
1 and
points,
3.
you're 5th, but yeah, on head-to-head.
On head-to-head, I'm not
matchups,
doing
you're
too good.
I'm 2nd. I might add. Serving you up. There's a guy called Planet Zen. I'm pretty sure he listens. I plugged this enough on our WhatsApp group, so he should. Mate, like nothing but respect. I'm doffing my cap.
He's winning. He's winning on points, rebounds, and I think he's a close second on assists. He's absolutely murdering everyone. I think he's winning on steals as well.
And he's lively on the waiver as well. He is making trades. He's moving people in.
Well, that's the way to do it. If you want to win on
Yeah.
fantasy, you've got to follow it daily. You've got to make moves in and out. You've got to make sure you're following the schedule so you know when games are coming up. There's a lot to be done. The lazy man is normally at the bottom of the league.
We will keep you up to date on this fantasy league. Are you and I playing again? We've got a while, haven't we?
I think we've got a while. I think we've got till after
All right.
after Christmas break.
Enough on that. We're going to wrap it up. We are at the Serve Up, SoundCloud, iTunes, already mentioned, Instagram, Facebook. Email us, and please make sure you come again.